Welcome to the Home Loan Hub, your ultimate guide to mastering the world of home loans and property. I'm Zibuni Salimova, here to simplify the complexities of real estate and provide you with expert insights and the latest trends. Whether you're a first-home buyer, an experienced investor, or simply curious about the property market, this podcast is for you. Join me each week as we unlock the secrets to property success and help you make informed decisions. Let's dive into the world of property together. Hello, and today I welcome Georgie Bydder from Voyle Co. Georgie, hello.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, I was about to say thank you for joining me. You beat me to it.
You're more than welcome. I'm very excited to be here.
How are you feeling today?
Good. Very energized. It's been a busy start to the day already. So, good.
The sun's shining?
Sun's shining. We like it when it's shining.
It
good for photos, good for videos.
Well, before we go further into the photos and videos, can you please tell my listeners who you are, what you do, and just a little bit about yourself, really, so
absolutely.
We can get to know you.
Awesome. So, yes, my name is Georgie Bydder. I work at Voyle Co Realty. I work with my husband, Hayden Walker. We're a team there. I have been in real estate for 3 years. And prior to that, I was in retail, I was in people management. I was actually traveling a lot as well. So that took me away from my children. So real estate seemed like a natural progression for me. And, you know, Hayden was doing it already as well. So,
did he drag you in?
Absolutely. Yeah. He definitely dragged me in. I can see you guys smiling here. No, it was probably more a circumstance because obviously we went into lockdown and things sort of changed and it gave us a bit of an opportunity to restructure our lives. And I was always away. I was travelling. I was overseas and he was always down in Johnsonville. And so it was a bit of a team joint decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you live now?
So we live in Raumati Beach.
Okay, Raumati Beach, so Kapiti local.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, and where do you sell most of your properties?
I would say majority is Paraparamu Beach. We sell in Raumati, we sell in Waikanae Beach. We go as far as Paikokariki and we go as far as Pika Pika as well. But with our office based in Paraparamu Beach, you know, a lot of our business is within that area as well.
Okay. Yeah. So Voyle Co, tell me a little bit more about the company and what's behind it and
absolutely.
What are the values?
Yeah. So Mike and Audra, Voyle, they own Voyle Co. It's part of the wider & Co group. It's been established 7-8 years now. It's a very family-oriented business and I think that's what was the pull for Hayden and I joining the team. So incredibly family-oriented. We all sit around one big table and we talk and we hash things out and very open and honest sort of environment. And for me, that was really important and I really love it.
That's awesome. So how's it like working with your husband? You see him 24/7.
I was waiting for this question. It's good. Yeah, it's good. Oh God, that's a tough question to answer that.
It's all right. We will forbid him from listening to this episode. We will just lock his access, so you can say anything you want.
I love it. No, it is really good because we do have really different personalities and really different sort of abilities, and there's a lot that I actually admire. In Hayden, and even when we're working together, there's aspects that I see that I'm not good at, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. So majority of the time it's really great, and then there's probably those moments where I'm ready to divorce him, but on the whole it's really good. I'm sure he feels the same way as well.
Yeah, and I mean it is hard, right, because you're managing your business together and then you've got your family to come home to as well. So you've got children, you've got blended family there.
We've got 3 children. So and majority of our family all live in Kapiti as well, so which is actually, to be honest, a bit of a blessing, but we're busy.
So what sort of properties are you selling at the moment? Is it more first home buyer, investor type? Tell me a little bit more.
We have a big spectrum of properties at the moment, and we've seen a property this year sell for 470,000, and we've sold properties over 2 million. So we sort of cover a massive basis when it comes to that. We're certainly seeing that segment, that first home buyer segment is still going really well, and we're seeing them out in full force. And I think maybe just that talk that sort of really reached that bottom point, and, you know, interest rates coming down and all those sorts of things is sort of, people have got buyer confidence again in that portion of the market. So that's exciting.
Are you investing yourself as well?
Not at the moment. No, we're investing in our children.
That's a lot. I get it. Look, I get it. What's holding you back from investing into property?
I think for us, it's probably just not the priority. We have invested in property before, and we have had rentals, and then we sort of built our dream home. But it's more so, I guess you can't cover off every sort of aspect. And as I said, our children are probably our biggest focus, you know, alongside work at the moment. And but certainly probably down the track, that will be something that we, you know, look into.
What would you prefer, new builds or older properties?
It's hard, right? You get all the bells and whistles with a new build, but you sometimes don't get the character like you do with an older build that kind of reminds you of your home and growing up. So, can I say I like both?
Yeah.
Can I be a fence sitter?
Yeah, that's okay.
Cool.
Tea or coffee? What's your beverage?
Oh, see, a fence sitter. I have both.
Wine or beer?
Oh, definitely wine.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Rosé or bubbles?
See, I can do both. Yeah. So, but bubbles would be my choice. You know, that's like one of our gifts that we, you know, give to clients and things like that. So let's go with bubbles.
That's awesome. Have you got like a personalised bottle of bubbles that you give away?
No, but we go Brendan, Winecraft, and he always sort of hooks us up with his latest favourite bubbles and things like that. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm talking to him at the moment to get my personalised bubbles.
Oh, good.
In time for Christmas.
Yeah. He's amazing, eh?
Maybe to give away. Awesome. That's awesome. Georgie, tell me a little bit about unofficial stats in terms of, do you see property prices going up?
Yeah, really
Have
interesting.
you noticed?
It really is dependent on the property. And we are noticing for well-presented properties in popular locations that have a wide appeal to like more than just one or two buyer groups. So I'm meaning that they are ticking first-home buyers, they're ticking downsizers, empty nesters, professionals, families, and then you're creating that competition. Then you will see, I guess we call them unicorn sale prices. We are starting to see those, and that's created through that competition. Yeah.
Is it because people are getting emotional and that FOMO is creeping back in again?
Yeah, and also people, you know, we have got a group of buyers who have already sold, and that also puts a little bit more pressure on people as well, because they've got a timeline that they now have to work to. And then, you know, if you have a few of those kind of people in competition, that's how you can sort of, I guess, create these prices. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a few clients at the moment that are nervous because they sort of put an offer on something. Yeah. They're trying to sell their house.
Yes, yeah.
And they're not getting prices for their house.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing that. We're seeing
and they're getting nervous about, you know, open bridge situation.
Yeah.
And to play the devil's advocate, I said, look, you know, you can get an open bridge,
yes,
but you've got to understand the cost that comes with that.
Yeah.
And what if you don't sell your house within 6 months?
Exactly. What does that look like for you, right?
Yeah.
And we have dealt with clients previously in the exact same situation where they've absolutely loved a house. And have looked at, they haven't been on the market already where they live, and they've looked at those sorts of things, and when they've actually done the math, it's actually been, you know, a bit of a realisation that maybe it's best just to sell your house first so you know exactly what you're working with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I guess when we are in this market, it can be like you've got to act fast.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you sell at a low point and then you're trying to buy back again at a higher point.
Yeah, we've seen that, right, already, like just a few years ago where people got priced out of the market, you know.
Really fast.
They're working with a portion of money and that can't buy, and so you're actually taking more of a sidestep instead of going up the ladder. Yeah.
So can they have like an escape clause in their own contract so they don't proceed with the sale?
Yeah, absolutely. So a vendor clause just to protect them from, I guess, becoming homeless in that sort of sense. Absolutely. So if you're not successful on that property, but you've got an offer on yours, absolutely, I would totally recommend putting that in just to protect you.
Yeah. No, that's a really good tip. If I was a first-home buyer and I've come to you, what sort of tips would you give me to make my home ownership journey a little bit easier?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, first of all, just ask as many questions. Like, no question is a silly question. It might feel like it, but don't be embarrassed to ask, because, you know, what you don't know, you don't know. I would find a real estate agent out there that you feel comfortable talking with, that you can ask those questions with as well. Find out more about what the market's doing. What would, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home sell for within certain areas, find out those statistics. Meet with a lawyer, find out what sort of conditions do you think I might need to be able to put into a sale and purchase agreement. And then, you're not necessarily going to the solicitor every single time you're putting in an offer, so you're racking up bills, because it can become expensive if you are missing out on, property after property. But definitely establishing that relationship, I think, with a local real estate agent, so you're just building your knowledge for sure.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Because what I find in New Zealand, which is really interesting, is we don't have a buyer's agent.
No, yeah.
Do you see that changing in the near future?
Potentially. I think for us, if I just focus on more of us, we're looking at growing our team and bringing on another salesperson, and that salesperson would solely focus on looking after buyers, but not necessarily working as a buyer's agent, where you've got your contract to the buyer.
Yeah, because overseas it's
a big thing, right?
It's a big thing, yeah. Even back home, I mean, just when I went to visit earlier this year, I was really blown away by how many buyer's agents are out there. Actually, sometimes more buyer's agents versus the seller's agents.
Absolutely. So, I don't know. That's a really good question. Just certainly something that I haven't even thought about exploring or thought about within our business. So, I don't know.
There you go. There's a business idea for you, Georgie.
Maybe.
Because what I'm finding is my job is obviously to give pre-approvals for clients.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm so stretched, right? Doing pre-approvals, fighting with the battles with the banks, getting people across the line. I don't have the time to say to my client, okay, you're pre-approved for 600K, let's go find your property.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to go to open homes with them and look at properties with them.
Absolutely.
I just physically don't have the time for it. And also being a mum to 4 kids. Yeah. So someone like a buyer's agent is
You just need to give me a call.
True. And that's what we do sometimes, isn't it?
Totally.
Where I go, hey, Georgie, I've got a couple of clients at the moment that are approved.
Definitely.
And that, because that's what I'm seeing at the moment. I'm seeing a lot of refinances because people are freaking out about their rates and they want a better deal. Yeah. And the banks are jumping on this whole bandwagon of, we'll give you a better deal.
Yeah, absolutely. You're seeing that competition out there again within the banks. So,
the bank war of interest rates.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of that. So I'm doing a lot of refinances at the moment.
Yeah.
But the first home buyers are definitely coming back in now.
Yeah.
But most of them are stretched to the max. Yes. And usually they are sort of under 600K.
Yes. Yeah.
600, 500K. Yeah. And it's really hard to find something.
What do you find? What are you seeing with the deposit side of it as well? Are banks being more lenient on that side of things?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some banks even doing 5% deposits.
Ah, right.
And a lot of people don't know that.
No.
So I'm like, come on, guys, if you've got even 5%, and I mean, 5% is 25K of 500K purchase price.
Absolutely.
How hard it is to save 25K? Actually, not that hard if you really push yourself.
If you make the sacrifices, right? You've got to make the sacrifices.
If you make the sacrifices, you can definitely spend 3 to 6 months. Yeah. With no coffees, no takeaways, on an average salary of, if both of you on 80K each, 25K savings shouldn't be that hard.
No, that's interesting. I didn't realise that they'd come back down to that level.
So you can do 5%, you can do 10%, so definitely less than 20.
So certainly way more flexible.
And now that the interest rates are going down as well, it's actually not as bad. Even if the bank adds margins, you get punished for not having 20% deposit.
Absolutely.
But even then, the interest rate's actually not that bad.
Yeah. It's doable.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And you'd rather pay yourself rent or pay down your own mortgage.
Yes, as opposed to paying rent for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. So there you go. Keep on your radar so if you are talking. But funny you ask about deposit, because one thing that clients always get confused, especially the first-time buyers, especially deposit. What do they need to put down on a deposit?
For a property.
Sales and purchase agreement.
Yeah, absolutely, because they get it confused between both scenarios, right? Yeah, exactly. So it can be any sort of amount. The standard in the sale and purchase agreement, the standard amount is 10% of the purchase price.
Where did the standard come from? Tell me. Who said the standard?
I don't know. I mean, the agreement's written by Auckland Law Society and REINZ, so I assume probably there. But it can be changed and it can be edited really easily.
What's the minimum?
I have seen 10,000 being the minimum.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Not $1,000, not $500.
No, I
20?
have presented offers with that, with a couple of thousand, and when you're sitting down and you're presenting to a vendor, it certainly does, raise a few question marks, because the whole idea of a deposit is good faith, right? So I'm going to be following through with this purchase, and I'm going to be putting down X amount because that's good faith.
Yeah.
And so $2,000 for somebody may be easier to walk away from,
Yeah.
right? Whereas if you're putting down 50,000, you don't really want to walk away from that. Yeah.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
And usually when do people pay that deposit?
So once they've confirmed all their conditions. Yeah. So you can have, 10 working days for finance, or, valuation, or builders or report. And once you've satisfied those conditions, then you're expected to pay the deposit.
Okay. So when I talk to people, they often get confused, like in terms of, how do you satisfy the condition?
Yeah.
We're going to totally bring it down to basics here, Georgie.
Cool. Awesome.
So what does it mean for people to satisfy the condition?
So to satisfy just means that you have done your due diligence in the sense of whatever that condition is. So if it's finance and it's 10 working days, you have been granted the finance to be able to purchase that property. If it's a building report, that you have got a building inspection completed on the property. Now, it's a little bit of a grey line with building inspection. Some people use, a company to do it. Someone might take Uncle John through. So, but as long as, you've read through all the information and you're happy to proceed, then yeah. So it's essentially, just think of it as like a tick list. I have ticked it off and I am happy.
Yeah. And how do they physically do that? I'm pushing you here a little bit.
That's fine. So you have to let your solicitor know, that it has been satisfied, and they in turn let us know, so that because obviously we have a system as well, and we need to make sure that things are being ticked off and things are moving along as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, quite often we will be notified that it's been completed, and so then we have to make sure that they're touching base with their solicitor. So because they have to confirm the other end as well with the vendors.
Yeah, it's amazing. So how much role do you guys play once the offer has gone under contract? Yeah. So it's been signed, accepted by both parties. Yeah. And I know usually then the lawyer kicks in and the solicitors talk to each other. How much are you involved in that process?
It depends what the conditions are in regards to how much we're involved. Obviously, once something has gone into contract, we can't amend that or work with anything in there. That is between solicitors. But if it's a case where there is a building report, we will go to the property, we'll meet the building inspector, sometimes the purchaser will come along. If there's anything that needs to be rectified, we'll meet the people there that we need to at the property. So it's very dependent on what those conditions are. But and it also depends on the purchaser. Have they never bought a property before, and how many questions do they have, and where do we have to point them, or is it somebody who's bought multiple properties and are just very relaxed about the whole process? So yeah.
And do you help with the extensions? Let's say if they don't have enough time to satisfy all the conditions and they need 5 days extra or 2 days extra, do you help with that?
Yeah, well, typically we might be the first point of call, because the purchaser might be asking us just how the vendor may feel about that, and I've just had that case just last week where the purchaser reached out to me, asked me, do you think we'd be able to get another week? Put it in writing, email your solicitor, they'll bring it across. Don't think it will be too much of an issue. So, and it was fine. Yeah.
And then normally you would go behind the scenes and talk to the vendor.
Yeah, absolutely. We have the conversation, because the biggest thing, I guess, in these sorts of situations is nobody wants a surprise, right? So, you communicate where you can.
And actually, if you and I step back a little bit outside of our profession and look into it from the outsider, can you see how many moving parts are there?
So many, absolutely. It's funny, like I look at when I purchased my first property, I don't even remember signing a sale and purchase agreement. I'm sure I did.
I'm sure you did, George.
I'm sure I did. But I think because you're right, there's so many moving parts that it becomes such a blur, and you don't know sort of what you're doing, and and that was my first purchase, and I can't remember all the steps at all.
How old were you when you bought your first home?
I was 27. Yeah.
Wow, nice. Yeah. And where was that? Where was your first purchase?
In Raumati Beach.
Oh,
Yeah.
funny. So
Yeah.
you did like a full circle.
I did, yeah. Because I was in Auckland prior to that. And then my family, like my parents relocated down here and my sister came back over from the UK. So I was just a bit of a copycat, really, and and followed them.
That's what I find about New Zealanders. Eventually they all come back.
Yeah, totally.
They all go away on the big OE, travel the world, travel
Yeah.
New Zealand, and then they come back to their roots.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is really cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
I love New Zealand. I mean, I've been here, it'll be 21 years
Yeah, wow.
this year for me. And I've spent more time here than I've spent, obviously, in my country.
Yes.
And it feels like home.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And, having a house and putting the roots down and, raising children here, it's really interesting concept because you're sort of torn between the
home,
that was official home, and now this new home. Because New Zealand to me still feels new.
Yes.
It's really bizarre.
Oh,
like it still feels like I'm only here maybe temporary, maybe not, maybe permanently. Like I still don't know. But every time, and the good test to that is every time I go travel. That's why I love traveling.
Yeah,
I come home, and the moment I get off the plane in Auckland and that fresh air hits me, I go,
you're home. Yeah, awesome. Oh, that's really cool. I was about to ask you, like, because you've obviously had a big trip recently as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, did you feel as though that you wanted to, did you get that feeling that you wanted to move back or anything like that or no?
Funny enough, no.
Yeah.
I find New Zealand is like a paradise, honestly. If you want to run your own business, if you want to be an property investor, or if you want to be a real estate agent, or if you want to do anything in life in New Zealand, you can do it.
Yes, yeah.
And I think people underestimate how much you can actually achieve in New Zealand compared to other countries.
Yeah.
Like, not to drag my country down, but I feel there's still corruption in place. You can't easily set up a business and run as easy as it is in New Zealand. And people definitely take it for granted how easy it is. Yeah, I mean, you jump on a company's website, you open a company within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
here you go. You've got a company number, you've got an IRD number.
Yeah.
Off you go. I was talking to a property manager. You don't even need to be licensed to be a property manager.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Go for life. So there's so many opportunities here that you can take advantage of without feeling like you're being suppressed.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Let's put it that way.
It's really nice to hear you say that.
Yeah, and especially I think as a female.
Yeah.
Yeah, because back home it's predominantly, Muslim country, predominantly male dominant run. Like it's sort of, New Zealand 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And females have it hard. Like they have to work twice as hard. Although, I mean, in saying that, growing up in New Zealand, and working in New Zealand, I feel like I had to work 3 times as hard because of my name.
Yes.
Versus a normal Sarah person that someone will go.
All those extra steps that you had to take and things you had to go through.
Yeah, like if people have a choice of a mortgage broker and they've got an easy name, like as I mentioned, Sarah or Zibuniso, of course they will go to Sarah because Zibuniso sounds too scary to you.
They obviously haven't heard your ad.
No. Was me spelling it out.
But I know what you're saying there, So, that's really cool to hear you say that those opportunities that you've taken advantage of here. That's really cool, because you do hear a lot of people saying, I guess, bad-mouthing your country, right? Your home place, and saying that you have to leave to be able to create these opportunities. And we've sold a lot of property for people who have, moved away, I guess, for other opportunities. So it's cool to hear that. Yeah,
I had lots of clients this year that moved to Australia because they think it's much easier to leave over the fence.
Yeah, absolutely. Same. We've sold property for people in the same situation as well. Yeah.
What keeps you positive? Because obviously in your industry, you have to constantly be on the go, right?
Yeah.
Your income is that next house, next house. How do you keep yourself positive?
I don't drink coffee anymore, so so it's not coffee. But I think it's what your motivator is, right? That keeps you positive. And my motivator is finding solutions for people. So I get a real kick out of just being part of somebody's journey and helping them get from A to B. Like that's what keeps me positive, because that's what drives me. So I'm not driven by, I guess, income. I never have been. Like even in my previous bonus, like when you've been in a commission-based management positions and things like that, it's just by doing a really good job, making sure that my clients or my customers are happy, they've got all the information that they need. And that keeps me positive, yeah. But don't get me wrong, there's certainly times where you get hit with some tough information or there's something that's really challenging and you have to work out different ways to be able to handle that. So there is moments where you sort of come back down to reality or earth. And I think that's where it's really good that we worked, Hayden and I worked together, because we are really different. And, if one of us needs, a little bit of support or a little bit of help, the other one's there to be able to offer that, which is really cool. Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed my chat with Hayden. It was nice and grounding and just, he's very soothing.
He's very calming.
Yeah. Like
definitely.
I can just see him in stressful situations, just bringing that calmness, because I feel like you and I are very similar. We're firecrackers. We arrive and everyone knows we're here. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly it. And quite high energy.
High energy, yeah. And it's nice to have, I guess, for you, Hayden, and your team that, you both can arrive and he can just anchor things down and just put people at ease. And
definitely. He is very grounding and it is good.
That's good that you guys can work. Because, that was my only, every time I think about the real estate career, for myself, but of people in real estate, I think, my goodness, you guys have to be constantly on the go.
Yeah.
And I mean, Hayden has done it for 17 years.
Yes, he's done it for a long time. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it certainly has its, I love it. I absolutely love it. But, just like any job, there's always challenges and things like that, and your phone is always on. And but I think coming back to that natural driver for me, that's what keeps me going. And that's why I love it so much, because I'm able to help people. Yeah.
Do you think any of your kids will be interested in taking over the legacy?
It's so funny that you say that, because Lennox was having a chat saying how he was like, I think I might get into it. And then he came back a couple of weeks later and he was like, I've actually just seen how many hours that you guys work, and I don't think it's for me.
I love it. What does he want to be?
So he wants to head overseas and play basketball and study overseas in America. So that's what he's working towards next year. So that's cool.
But as we just discussed, we all know Kiwis will come back. So
totally. I will make him come back.
Yeah. He'll probably meet a beautiful American girl and then bring home.
Yeah. And hopefully not stay there. Yeah.
And hopefully not stay there. Exactly.
But it's a great place to visit, right? So, yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah. And look, as we wrap it up, one question I always ask of everyone now is, what fills your cup? What gives you joy? I know we touched on family, but what else gives you joy?
Gosh, I think there's so many different things, right? But seeing friends, that's always one that fills my cup. Traveling, I absolutely love to travel. Went away with a good friend this year and I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. It was nice to have a bit of time off as well. I've got another one planned next year.
Where are you going?
Going to Bali.
Can I come with you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can come anytime. But it's hard because we have to holiday at different times at the moment. So we have separate holidays.
I was about to say, you wouldn't have a holiday with Hayden, but I guess it's a good break as well.
Yeah, because we live and we work together, and he loves fishing and I enjoy fishing as well, but just not as much as he does. So he gets to go on his fishing trips and playing golf. Going out in the water. There's lots of different things, and I guess it's really just dependent on where I'm at that time and what I need. Like I try and focus on that a little bit more as well. And if it's a case where I need to go and do Pilates, I'll go and do that. Or if I need to go walk down on the beach, I'll go and do that. So it's just really all about what I need at that time as far as filling my cup. Yeah,
because I find us working in a high stressful situations, we have to remember to take that time for ourselves to recharge.
Absolutely, yeah. Because and you would know as well, there's times where you are disappointing people. Not necessarily through yourself at all, but just through the market or the information that you may have received, and so you're always hoping to be delivering positive news, but the reality is that you're not. And so and I obviously, as somebody who likes to help people,
you've got a people's pleaser syndrome like me.
And so I find that quite hard, and so I do have to make sure that I'm taking the time out just to be recollect myself and recharge the batteries for sure.
No, Georgie, thank you so much for sharing that. Any parting words before we wrap up?
Nice to see you on the back of the bus as well.
I knew the bus conversation will come up.
Yeah, totally. No, but thank you so much for having me. You've got a very cool setup in here. This is very cool. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
For doing it.
No, thank you for coming on board, being a brave volunteer. Really appreciate it.
Anytime.
And I look forward to having you back.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do this again.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One time. Let's go. Thank you for tuning into the Home Loan Hub. I hope you found today's episode insightful and full of valuable tips to help you on the property journey. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on all things real estate and the property ladder. If you enjoyed the show, leave a review and share it with others who might benefit as well. Keep an eye out for the next episode where we'll continue to reveal strategies for property success. Until then, keep making savvy decisions and unlocking your property potential.